Now, meanwhile, the United Nations Human Rights Chief Zeid Ra'ad Al Hussein has warned that Burundi is at risk of imminent atrocities that could lead to a Rwanda-style genocide, failing urgent international action. The special session at the UN's top rights body is set to debate a draft resolution tabled by the United States, pressing for Zeid to urgently dispatch an investigative team to Burundi. Now, the upsurge in violence has raised fears of a return to civil war that only ended in 2006. UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon also warned this week that Burundi was indeed on the brink of a civil war that risks engulfing the entire region. He said his envoy, Jamal Ben-Omar, will travel to the region this week to meet with African Union and regional leaders before talks in Bujumbura on opening up a dialogue between the government and the opposition.
Time for piecemeal responses and fiddling around the edges is over. The situation in Burundi demands a robust, decisive response from the international community.
This session has been convened based on the words of some Western representatives in order to prevent a large-scale massacre or even genocide from happening in the near future in Burundi.
Now let's get you more updates on this developing story. We're joined by CCTV's Robert Nagila on the line for us in Burundi's capital, Bujumbura, and Nick Harper live for us at the UN headquarters in New York. Now, Robert, let's start with you. There appears to be a growing consensus among regional and international actors here that there is a great possibility of a breakout of violence in Burundi. You are on the ground. Just how bad is the situation?
Well, a week after the violence experienced last Friday, there appears to be some semblance of normality. People are back on the streets, businesses are open, at least most of them. There's even traffic on the roads again. However, that's on the surface, and anyone visiting the capital of Bujumbura in the last couple of days would be hard-pressed to believe that this was the same city that witnessed that devastating violence that swept through the capital. However, beneath the surface, there are underlying tensions. It's obvious. If you take a keen interest around you, you begin to notice that every street you turn onto, there are security patrols, both police and military personnel. There are roadblocks in and around the city. However, the situation is calm at this particular moment, but the tensions are there. You try to speak to people about what happened. No one's really ready to open up. There appears to be a fear of reprisals in case they speak to journalists about what exactly happened. However, the government is categorical that they are on top of the situation, and there is no need for foreign troops on Burundian soil at this particular moment.
We do thank you there, Robert Nagila, live for us there in Bujumbura for that update on the ground, suggesting that the tension is definitely there, though, of course, peace at the moment in the capital of Burundi. Now let's turn to Nick Harper. He joins us from the UN headquarters in New York. Nick, we know, of course, that UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon has sent a special envoy to Burundi. What does he hope this will achieve?
That's right, Jamal Ben-Omar on his way to Burundi. Really, the UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon is hoping that he can calm the situation. Ben-Omar, up until recently, was the special advisor to Yemen, so he is used to difficult situations where you have to get lots of people around the table, all with different opinions. He's going to the region to speak to the Burundian government, also to speak to the AU and other countries within the region, really to try and calm the tension that is there at the moment. On Wednesday, Ban Ki-moon said the violence that we've seen over the last few days is chilling, and therefore it is a response that he feels he's able to do at this time, sending someone in a top-level position to speak to all of the parties involved and really try and calm what we've seen over the last few weeks, but also try and push for inclusive political dialogue, which Ban Ki-moon says really is the only way forward for there to be a peaceful solution that involves all parties talking about how to resolve the current situation, but also to look forward to create a peaceful solution for Burundi.
Now, of course, Nick, the UN finds itself in a rather tricky sort of situation. I mean, Burundi has expressly said they do not want international agencies or governments meddling in their affairs. So beyond sending an envoy now, what options are available to the UN? Is there any sense that they might deploy peacekeepers there?
You're right, yes, it is a very tough situation. The Burundians are saying they do not want foreign troops on their soil. Now, that really is the last tool in the armory of the United Nations. Sending a peacekeeping mission would be if the violence spiraled out of control. But there are a few things that they could potentially do before it gets to that stage. As you mentioned a few moments ago, we heard from the human rights chief, Zayed al-Rad al-Hussein, earlier. He's looking into the possibility of sending independent investigators to the country to look at the situation. He's also calling for potential sanctions against individuals, so travel bans, asset freezes, but also to monitor the border of Burundi closely to make sure that weapons aren't going into the country. The UN is also exploring potentially sending a watered down team to the country. It would be made up of special advisors who could support the efforts on the ground. It wouldn't be troops on the ground. It wouldn't be a full peacekeeping mission, but just people who are able to add additional support. And we know that the UN is also working on a rapid response team. They're trying to put that together. But we did hear from the current president of the Security Council, Samantha Power, on Wednesday. She said that those contingency plans are moving very slowly and the council wants them to speed them up. So there's a few things in their arsenal that they can do before they push the button on a full peacekeeping mission, something, of course, the Burundians don't want to happen.
Well, thanks very much for that update. That's Nick Harper live for us there at in New York at the UN headquarters.